Hey guys, what's going on? It's Clay for Buddy RC here, and we are going to be doing a quick flight review of the new Fun Stick from OMP Hobby. This thing is gorgeous. It has got a ton of throw on it, and it has a ton of power. Even though it's on a 3300 4S, this thing still has a ton of power to it. So we're going to take it off here at this little field. It is gorgeous out here. There's a little bit of wind, but it does not feel like October out here. So guys, we're gonna get this thing up in the air for a maiden, and you guys will get my first impressions on it. Like I said, I'm not gonna be the best 3D pilot in the world, but I'll at least give you guys some ideas of how it flies and maybe make some comparisons with our other OMP models. So let's jump into it, guys. All right, you ready? Up, down, right, left, rudder. All right, here we go, first flight. Oh my gosh, it flies so good. That is literally quarter stick. Oh, this thing is good. You can do 3D with it. That's awesome. It does fly really good. At slow speeds, I don't need any trim. It is just dead on. Look at that thing. Tons of power. It flies great. And that red really, really looks good. Do a little knife edge. A little bit of coupling. It is a little bit windy up there today. Do a little stall turn. You ready? Nice. This looks good, man. This flies really good. Yeah, so this is gonna be a good, like, second, balsa plane. This isn't like the most beginner friendly. It is more of an aerobatic plane that I would recommend for like a first time balsa builder. Like I would start with like the Decathlon or the Challenger before going to this plane. I mean, it hovers. And this is on the 3300, so I don't know how long we're gonna get for flight times, but I guess we'll find out. I mean, it looks really good in the air. It does fly good though. And it slows down really well. So with this 3300, I do have it stuffed all the way to the front. So it is still a little tail heavy, but I mean, that's 0 throttle and it just glides. This thing is awesome. Look at that. Just a little bit of back pressure and it takes it. So the really cool part about this is it is that old school, scheme on it. So it's got the Red Baron scheme and it really sticks out behind the sky. Or I'm sorry, it really sticks out in front of the sky. It looks fantastic. And it just glistens in the sun. And you can really do a lot of 3D maneuvers with it. Your 4-point rolls. I mean, you can do just about anything. Let's do a little loop. You ready? I'm gonna go up for a loop. A big loop. It looks great. And like I said, it slows down so well that you don't have to go full throttle to have a good time with this thing. I mean, it's like loving the slow, Harrier style flying, And it doesn't do any weird, tip stalls actually, surprisingly enough. I thought it would, but this would be a really good one to get into aerobatics with. Like this would be a really good first aerobatic type plane. You could do, all your same maneuvers. It doesn't have as much throw as like the Edge, but it definitely has more than the Challenger. So this would be a really good like first aerobatic plane. And it flies fantastic. It's great. It flies so good. Let's shoot an approach here, and we'll see how slow we can land it. Are you ready, Dale? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna be coming from left to right here, getting in the pattern here. Here we go. Bring her down nice and slow. That's off throttle, by the way. That is awesome. And the nice part is, oh, did you see that? Did you see how quickly the thing turned around? Did you get that? That was cool. You got to get one of these. This thing flies amazing. And it's fairly light for how big it is. Flies really good with this 3300. It's super light. We have a 50, I think it's a 5300 we're gonna slap in it and see what it does. But I really do like the way it flies with this 3000. So I just flew that for 8 minutes and 34 seconds. So we're gonna check the battery and we'll post on the screen right now what the voltage was at so you can kind of get an idea of how this thing works on batteries. All right, guys, we're back out here with the Fun Stick. We have the 5300 in it. So this is gonna be the you know, maximum weight that this thing can fly at. So let's see how good it flies at max weight. Oh, it's definitely way faster with this battery. It's way faster.
I think it's 3300.
3300 is for sure.
Fast.
It doesn't fly bad, but it, I mean, it still does everything it wants to do. It definitely is a little bit more of a pig, but it's still really fun to fly. I mean, that's still throttle off, but you can see how much faster it is. This is a more hot rod setup. So if you're doing sport flying, you're not really wanting to do 3D or slow flying, and you want this thing to just hot rod around, 5300 is definitely the one for it. Flies great, puts the CG right on the wing spar actually, instead of being a little bit more tail heavy with the 3300, but it still slows down a decent bit. I mean, I'm still fighting it, but it makes it a little bit more stable with the more weight. All right, let's see how fast this thing can go. It's fast. It's really fast. So we are running the ELRS receiver in this. This is the ER5A. So you could just put a Y connector on the ailerons and fly it like that, because it is just 2 servos for the ailerons, 1 servo for the rudder and 1 servo for the elevator. So you don't really have to run any weird mixing or anything like that. I've done no mixing in this radio. It actually is just straight programming from the Radio Master. So let's see how it lands. We're gonna bring it in here. Might go a little long, but that's all right. That was a good landing. And it's got a really tight turning radius. I mean, look at that. It looks really good taxiing too. So yeah, this thing, guys, if you don't have a Fun Stick in your arsenal, you guys have got to get one. This thing flies fantastic. It's super light. And honestly, for how big it is, it was really surprising. It brings back a lot of the nostalgia from, you know, the older planes, from the old like Ugly Stick, improved upon. So it does fly a lot better. Let's see if we can turn around. Oh, I think I'm stuck. But I think I'm gonna do one more flight to end it, and then we'll do our final thoughts on this. So let's take back off. You ready, Dale? All right, here we go. Little to no throttle here. Look at that, like nothing. Yeah, it flies really good, guys. This is a must-have. This might actually be my new favorite. I might have to add a few things to it, like a wood prop from Falcon. I think this thing would look fantastic with a wooden prop on it. But it slows down, it does everything right. It looks great too. And it can turn in really tiny spots if you could do some coordinated turns with it, and it just eats it up like it's nothing. And it'll do your rolling harriers, it'll do all the, you know, as long as it's not asking a lot of the elevator. It's got a lot of authority with the elevator, actually. Now, because it's not full-length ailerons, you're not gonna be able to do like your torque rolls and things like that. But I mean, it'll do just about anything else with it. So it'll hover, but at slow speeds, when you're hovering and things like that, there's no air going over the ailerons, so they won't really do much. And I'm hovering just above half stick. And it's got enough to pull out of it, look at that. I don't know what I'm doing, because like I said, I'm not a plane guy, but this thing does fly really good. This is just a fun, relaxing plane. There's no, you know, stress with it. It flies slow if you want it to, or you can do your aerobatic stuff. This is a really good beginner aerobatic plane for sure. Let's see how short I can land it. Perfect. This thing was a ton of fun to fly, guys. I now have a new favorite. The Challenger 59 was my favorite, but this has now since replaced it. So, guys, this thing has a ton of throws. You can do all the, you know, basic 3D maneuvers, your rolling harriers. You can hover it. You can do knife edges. You can do whatever you want with it, and it will just take it. So this right here, I'm gonna say that right now that this is gonna be one of the best aerobatic beginner planes out there. So if you're wanting to get into aerobatics and you already have like a Decathlon or a Bighorn, this right here would be a perfect step up for you. And it's a larger plane, but it doesn't require larger batteries. You only have to buy a 4S. You don't have to get a 6S battery like, you know, like the Edge and things like that. It's super light. Run the 3300 on it and it is going to be a fantastic plane. The 5300 is a little bit heavy for it. It is on the large end of the batteries. It's doable with a 5000, but my recommendation would be a 3300 just because it's a little bit lighter and this thing loves to float. So the 5300 will make you have a little bit hotter landings, as you saw. Again, I'm not the best pilot, so it also is a little pilot error. But guys, this thing flies so good. And it looks even better in the sky. I mean, that red behind the background, you know, of this beautiful blue sky that we have out here, it just pops. So guys, get yours today at Buddy RC. If you guys have any questions, as always, post them down below. And I think I'm gonna go fly this thing again. So I'll see you guys later.